Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of homeownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Go-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License Lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License Number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Inflation Reduction Act. Inflation Reduction Act, more like the small green new pact, green energy, and the institution. How is this going to lower inflation? A tax increase on the ones that make our goods, and they think this will lead us out of the woods? Now, inflation came down just a tiny bit, and Grandpa Joe's out there bragging over some bullshit. Now, I want to talk about something a little off topic. The fact we are losing our country and we are being myopic. We can't see what is coming and we are going to lose. We're losing the right to speak and the right to choose. We are back to segregation and making more groups. We are giving the power back to the government, yet we are the ones jumping through hoops. They aren't paying for gas and they cannot afford food. They aren't feeling the hate, and they're not in a bad mood. The country is angry, and we need to make it clear that we will not succumb to division, nor will we fall from fear. Welcome to Divided We Stand. My name is James Battisti, and that wiffle ball Hall of Famer over there is Joe Aguirre.
Jimmy, I don't know if you know this or not. It's funny you say that. My wiffle ball championship is Sunday. My team,
really?
best 2 out of 3. Yeah, we were.
Where's this being played?
It's being played at Falcon Field in Meriden. All are welcome to a big barbecue. We're gonna make a big to do about it. We're trying to live stream the game right here on the CMG network.
Look at man, I'm actually shooting a movie this weekend. But if
awesome.
Thank you. If I am finished on Saturday, which I hope to be, if I am free Sunday, we're coming out, man.
Oh, I'd love to see you out there.
Coming
5
up
o'clock.
Just to heckle you. If nothing else, just to heckle you. All right. But hey,
yeah.
It's all smiles right now, man. And after the show, we're probably all smiles again. But right now, dude, we got to talk about this Inflation Reduction Act. All right. Can anybody out there, can anybody tell me how this is going to lower inflation? I'll even give you the next 4 years. I'll give you the next 4 years. Thank you, my love. Thank you.
For anybody who's not watching but listening, Mrs. Battisti has just messaged to say I would like credit for watching. Thank you, Erica. Much appreciated. And she wants everyone to know she let you buy that hat. I thought you were playing the role of Beto O'Rourke tonight, but I guess not.
No. I got back from South Carolina. I was on vacation, and while I was down there, we fully embraced the Southern comfort style.
Hey, real quick, before we get going on this show, and I know we got a lot of stuff to cover, did you see the Beto O'Rourke thing today?
I did not. I was
all right. So Beto's doing his thing, and he's all over the room, and he's talking about guns, and there was a lot of Greg Abbott supporters there, and they were allowed their space in the back. And he's getting heated about Uvalde and the people that died, and the fact that an AR-15 is a weapon of war. I'll let him finish.
An enemy soldier's helmet at 500 feet and knock him down dead. Up against kids at 5 feet. It may be funny to you, motherfucker, but it's not funny to me, okay?
What? And right now, Jimmy, the right is freaking out because of the language of Beto O'Rourke. The irony, again, not lost on anybody. If that was Donald Trump, they'd have been the ones cheering.
Oh, my God. That would have been the highlight of the year for Donald Trump. That would have been played on every campaign freaking clip. That would have been great. You're 100% right. Language, I don't agree with. Not a lot of people can hit somebody with an AR-15 at 500. I'm just letting you know. There's not a lot of people. So I don't know what Beto's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I want Jimmy, that first and foremost.
I assume the guy was laughing at the idea of hitting anything with accuracy at that distance in a jungle, in a war situation, because he was talking specifically about in Vietnam.
Yeah, but, dude, come on.
I don't think you could see 500 yards clear anywhere. You could be on top of a mountain and you couldn't see 500 yards.
Not in Vietnam. Absolutely not. I've been there. Trust me.
And again, listen, there's obviously a lot of discussion. We've had it on this show that it's not an automatic weapon and that people really don't know the difference. But I think we can all agree it is a weapon of war in that it's designed to inflict a lot of damage. So I don't think the guy that started laughing, the Greg Abbott supporter, I don't think he's laughing at the Uvalde kids.
Neither do I.
So this, again, it was a great moment, I thought, for Beto O'Rourke.
I thought it was a good moment for him. I'm proud of the man.
David Ortiz, right after the Boston Marathon bombing on live TV, he's like, this is our country, motherfucker. Like, what are you going to do?
Dude.
You got to love that.
Yeah. Hey, man, you know what? That was true emotion coming from Beto, right? He couldn't hold back his political silver tongue. And he let a true Beto moment come out, right? Yeah. And in that true Beto moment, now you know. That's true Beto. That's what I like to see. I don't want to see your silver tongue, quick freaking thinking, just tell me what I want to hear bullshit, right? I want to see some true raw emotions out of these people, and then maybe I'll believe them.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
There you go. Beto, that was a true moment.
Listen, I think if every politician said what was on their mind in exactly the moment, it would be like living through Trump every moment of every day. And listen, not for nothing, Jimmy. I think if there's something about that guy you can't criticize, it's the fact that you always know what he's thinking.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I've said, how many times have I said it, Joe? He's either an evil genius or a freaking schmuck, because you can't be both.
Yeah.
And we've always leaned to the schmuck side. So he's never going to be able to hold his tongue like that. He's always going to wear his heart on his sleeve, right, wrong, or indifferent, more times wrong than not. But you always know where you stand.
Yeah.
Because you can't hide. Sure. Right? So, I'm not giving him credit for it, but you always knew where he stood. So, hey, that real quick, man, I really want to get back to this Inflation Reduction Act, because I think it's important that we talk about the $300 billion in debt reduction, right? Great thing, right? It's a good thing. We're going to pay off a debt with money that we don't have, which is called debt. So, like I said, Joe Biden's out there praising this thing. He's robbing Peter to pay Paul. I need everybody to understand this. $300 billion we don't have. We don't have a bank account with $300 billion in it just to be like, all right, we're going to apply it to the national debt. He's creating more debt in the future to pay debt now. And the way he's doing that is by raising the corporate tax rate, right?
Yes.
That's what we're doing. We're raising it up to 15%, but it's not a tax hike on people, only on the ultra rich who make all our goods, who provide all our services that we pay monthly for 1 million subscriptions, that we pay monthly for utilities, that we pay monthly. Right?
Just so everybody knows, it's imposing a 15% corporate minimum tax rate for companies with higher than $1 billion of annual financial statement income and will raise for us $313 billion. It's not going to hurt these companies.
Finish that
all.
statement. You're 100% right, but finish that statement by 2030.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's funny that you say that. Because I know you're going to want to. I know you're going to want to bring up this IRS agent nonsense, and I'll stop you before you ever even get there. It's unnecessary. It's not true.
I don't even have that on my paper, to be honest with you.
Why everybody is talking about these IRS agents is beyond me. Because this isn't what's happening. This is another situation. They're trying to hire more IRS agents. That is true. By 2031.
Moving up to how many agents?
Right now, they're at 87,000.
Okay.
They want to get over 100,000, and they basically want to double the number in the future by 2030. And the reason they want to do this is they're going to have a dedicated team to make sure that they crack down on corporate and high-income tax evaders.
That's awesome.
Again,
that's
something
great.
that's going to save this country about $300 billion.
Okay, so you really honestly believe that? Because here's my question to you, Joe. How many billionaires are there? Just not even big, giant corporation, billion-dollar corporation?
Yeah.
How many billionaires are there in the United States? I'll tell you. Hold on. Because I got it written down here somewhere. Well, there's 614 billionaires. So we're
okay,
going
how many companies do we have, though? How many corporations do we have that are clearing $1 billion?
Not 614.
Oh, I'll bet you there's a lot more than you think.
Well, there'd be a billionaire owners. So no, there's six. Well, even I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say there's
every baseball team's worth over $1 billion. So
that's
there's
right. And
32
probably
teams right
included
there.
in this.
No, it's
right?
not. That's people. You're talking about individual billionaires. I'm talking about organizations that are
owned by people that are billionaires.
Dude, think about ExxonMobil. What do you think they're worth? They're worth about $50 billion. I mean,
how many people own that? How many billionaires are in that company?
I don't know.
That's
I would assume.
Right?
I would assume a handful.
So this is my point. 600. I told you 614 corporations. Let's say make billions and billions of dollars because there's one billionaire at the top. All right, that's 142 agents per company right now. 142 agents. How much more do we need to look into a company? We need 100 and you want to double
understand.
You want to double.
You understand
so
that not everybody who works for the IRS is auditing
you just
taxes,
said
right?
There's 87,000
But you know that they're not all there auditing taxes, right? That there's other jobs at the IRS that they do other things.
We're talking agents. You said 87,000 agents, and you said you want to double that.
They want to double the amount of agents.
Okay.
Yes, they don't have enough agents.
If right now there's 142 agents per billionaire, you want to double that to 284 per company.
I'm not sure why you're so hung up on the billionaires. There's work that the IRS has to do. And again, not all of these jobs are
why am I hung up on the billionaires? Because this is what the president's telling us, to make sure that the billionaires pay their fair share. Is that not the words he used?
It is. Yes.
Okay.
Again, that's going to bring in.
I'm bringing this up.
It's going to bring in $300 billion in income. That's what it's estimated to do. Now, listen.
So now you're hoping to pay the $300 billion that
listen,
we're
I'm going to tell you something. You asked the question. I'm going to answer this question. You asked what this thing does in addition to the deficit reduction and the corporate tax. It's going to allow for Medicare to negotiate drug prices, 1% excise tax on stock buybacks, domestic energy security and climate change, which will save us about $369 billion. There's funding for drought relief, Affordable Care Act subsidies, blah, 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 blah. Right. Here's the thing, though, dude. The nonpartisan, and I have a lot of respect for this group, the Congressional Budget Committee nonpartisan group, estimated the bill will have statistically no significant effect on inflation.
Thank you.
The Penn
That's my
Wharton
point.
budget model says pretty much the same thing. Maybe this will result in slight increases in 2024 and then decreases thereafter.
Thank you.
Only the Rhodium Group, which is an independent research provider, found any sort of benefit to this. They say it would reduce national greenhouse gas emissions about 35%.
30 to 5. Yes.
Which to me is the only thing in here. But yeah, as far as your question, this bill does a lot of things. Nothing that's going to offset inflation. And Jimmy, more specifically, nothing that will offset inflation in the short term at all.
Okay, so I just want to make sure people know.
Ready? This is exactly like that bipartisan gun bill that passed a month and a half ago, where, again, it would not have stopped Sandy Hook. It wouldn't have stopped Las Vegas, Uvalde, Pulse. Take your pick. It wouldn't have prevented any of those. So, again, this is an election year. It's the reason you see bipartisan stuff. It's the reason, I mean, the Democrats have to do something. The Inflation Reduction Act is a great name for the thing that you desperately need to fix, but you're not fixing it. So it's well-intended. There's a lot of benefits. This, all in all, is a good bill. It's good for the environment. It does nothing to solve inflation.
Okay, so, again, we talked about this last week, or 2 weeks ago. Sorry, guys, I was on vacation last week. 2 weeks ago, we talked about this. How climate reduction, $735 billion total, right? We'll just average total it out, $375 billion for climate reduction. So let's just say that half of that is for the production of solar panels and wind turbines that are made by China. So now you got over $180 billion going to our enemy, who is also the number one greenhouse emitting country by making those solar panels and wind turbines. So we're reducing nationally, so we can sit back and pat ourselves on the back and say we've done a good job as the United States of America, but we're still spewing and we're still assisting in the spewing of greenhouse carbon emissions by giving through $180 billion to China to do it. Does people not understand this?
Well, but here's the thing. What we're doing in this country impacts the air that we're breathing, the immediate air right in our area, and our waterways.
Hold on. So I thought it was the polar ice caps, which is a global thing. So now we're more worried about national.
Well, we're worried about having clean air emissions. That's important.
So why don't we spend that money and build a fucking dome? Because our money would be better spent. We'll just build a dome over the United States of America. That money would be better spent than giving the money to China.
What would you be? I'm not arguing for giving China money.
If we can build a freaking dome over America, we can filter the air by that.
I think we're trying to give more money to Taiwan too. It seems like.
Well, that's a whole nother episode, brother. We don't want to go down that road. By the way, the only time I've ever applauded Nancy Pelosi ever, by sticking to her guns, she sent a message to China, and I can tell you right now, she's got bigger brass, than our president. And that's saying it's a lot for me, coming from me, to Nancy friggin' Pelosi. But that whole Taiwan-China thing, it's not going to end well, brother. Remember, I predicted this months ago.
It's funny because really China, in response, has been firing missiles into the middle of nowhere in Taiwan, which they do from time to time anyway.
Yeah, they do their little military exercises.
All right. Yeah. That's cute. But no, listen, this is, I think this is a disappointing bill for the Democrats. It's unfortunate because, again,
you can't call it a win. You just can't. Because you're not the name because you named the bill.
It does
the Inflation Reduction Act,
right? And it doesn't affect inflation. Yeah. But again,
it's a win.
It's not a win. Well, it's a win in that they got something passed. It's, again, you have to understand that there's people that are holding this country up. Joe Manchin from West Virginia is a terrible human being. He's a literally a coal baron congressman. He's a Democrat for some reason in a conservative district. And to get anything done, everything has to go through him. The original bill didn't look anything like this. This is what Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema of Arizona turned this thing into, which again ends up not solving any problems. That's the problem with compromise, is that at the end of the day, those compromise bills don't ever end up having any kind of effect because they throw out the most effective measures on either side because it's the thing they most oppose.
You know, this is a coal miner we're talking about, and giving $375 billion of clean energy doesn't sound like a coal miner to me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand what you're saying. I do. And I understand how everybody thinks Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin are holding up for solely personal gain. I'm not saying they're not.
It's not solely personal.
I said solely.
Sure, a lot of it has to do with their state as well, and I don't blame them. That's, I think, part of what being a senator is to make sure your state gets some love, but not at the cost of the entire country.
Well, they're not looking at it. The entire country, in my opinion, is just screwed up, number one, right? We're looking too much at an entire country. We're looking at it as an entire country too much. I mean, we can't apply the same rules in Missouri that you do in California. You can't apply the same rules in New York City that you do in freaking Montana. Do you know what I'm saying? There's different demographics. There's different populations. There's different climates. There's different terrain. It's just, you can't say, okay, this is good for the entire country, because some things are not, right? For example, complete abortion ban. Not good for the entire country. I think every freaking person would agree with me, minus a few evangelicals, right? That's awful.
Look at super conservative awful. Kansas is like, yeah, we're going to keep that. We're going to keep that here.
Now, imagine if that was imposed nationwide. Then nationwide stuff is awful, but nationwide gun bans are good. What's good and what's bad is not the problem. What is good, what we need to talk about is either nationwide or statewide, right? Because, again, good and bad are subjective. What's good for freaking Republicans are awful for Democrats, et cetera, vice versa. So let's be real about this.
Again, listen, the idea of a national law when it comes to guns, when it comes to abortion, when it comes to gay marriage, when it comes to any of these things is a good thing. I can cross state lines. I don't have to wonder what my rights are in that country. And if I'm going long distance, I don't have to worry about the next state and what my rights are. Things should be. It's 2022. At this point, with the communication we have and with the internet, like, there's no reason why we shouldn't all sort of be on the same page. Why we shouldn't. Again, there was a time where people lived very differently. Go to any town USA. I don't care how rural and hick it is. You've still got that strip of road with all the commercial restaurants on it, the whole nine. I mean, it's. You know, there'll be a Dunkin' Donuts on your corner soon enough if it's not already in your town. I'm sure there's a Chick-fil-A on every corner, and that's great. It's how it's supposed to be.
So, no. You can't. I'm trying to think of the best analogy I possibly can here, right? Federalizing a whole bunch of stuff is just not
a whole bunch of stuff.
It's
your rights.
Good. It's
the things that are your rights, the things that you're entitled to. Again, when it comes, everybody likes the Miranda rights, right? Everybody wants to, when they get arrested, you want to know what your rights are.
We have a federal right to vote, and federalizing the voting system is not good. We've already discussed this.
I disagree. I think it's the best way to do it.
Having one system.
Again, understand
the colonial pipeline.
Understand
why it's
that
not good.
Understand that in Bush versus Gore, the reason that they stopped the count was because George Bush argued in court that his 14th Amendment due process rights were being violated because every county had a different system of doing a recount, and it wasn't fair. And that's literally what they rule. Like, that's ridiculous. That's it. Literally came down to like, well, are we just not going to get a fair recount? There's no way to, if they're not all doing it the same way. Well, then we should all be doing it the same way.
Ask the Colonial
Easy as
Pipeline
that.
why not to do it, man. They'll give you freaking 50 million reasons why not to do it. They'll give you 50 million reasons why not to have one voting system.
None of those reasons are valid, in my opinion. There should be one system of voting. There should be one way to do it. It should be electronic or paper. Take your pick. Everybody, and it should, voting rules should be the same. It's either 1 day voting, couple of days voting, early, whatever you want to do, but just codify so that everybody knows, no matter where they are, what the laws are.
We're talking two different things now. You're talking about physically voting.
Sure.
I'm talking about the entire system. There shouldn't be one federalized system.
I'm saying there should be one federalized system for voting. Yes.
That's the most asinine thing, Joe. Like, you understand what happened to Colonial Pipeline, how one idiot just hacked that entire system and shut them down. One guy. One. So now
do paper ballots and count the paper ballots.
Okay, so your solution is to allow a bunch of people with a computer to be able to decide our election? Like, I don't understand.
I just said paper ballots. Count them by hand. That's not difficult.
Oh, we want to go back to that? We can. I'm agree with that. I'm cool with that.
What was wrong with it? Dude, it's like
cool
Common Core math. Why change math up? It was working fine. No issues with the regular math. So why are we doing that? Again, paper ballots was great. Everybody marked down what they wanted, handed it in, they added it up. Boom. There you go. It didn't take a whole many. I remember, dude, they used to turn that around pretty quick with just paper before the internet came along. I'm not sure why they decided to add all these different elements. It doesn't make it any faster. It doesn't make it any more secure.
I'm actually okay with that. I actually wanted to talk about something else, but I know you are, so I'm not going to.
If you want to talk, we can talk about that for a minute, because as a matter of fact, if you'd like, Merrick Garland spoke earlier today.
That's what I wanted to talk about a little bit. Yeah.
All right. Let's run Merrick Garland. We'll talk about that, and then I'll get into the actual thing coming up.
There are, however, certain points I want you to know. First, I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. Second, the department does not take such a decision lightly. Where possible, it is standard practice to seek less intrusive means as an alternative to a search and to narrowly scope any search that is undertaken. Third, let me address recent unfounded attacks on the professionalism of the FBI and Justice Department agents and prosecutors. I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked. The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants. Every day, they protect the American people from violent crime, terrorism, and other threats to their safety, while safeguarding our civil rights. They do so at great personal sacrifice and risk to themselves. I am honored to work alongside them. This is all I can say right now. More information will be made available in the appropriate way and at the appropriate time. Thank you.
Attorney General, the former president said this is...
Yeah, then he wouldn't say anything else beyond that.
Okay, so that speech that he gave, and I watched it, and I was just like dumbfounded that he actually said some of the stuff that he said, because now you're putting a lot of pressure back on Joe Biden, by the way, because Mr. Biden's like, oh, I had no idea this was going to happen, right? Well, the DOJ works for the executive branch exclusively.
The FBI is an independent organization.
Hold on, I didn't say the FBI.
Branch.
I am not. First off, the good men and women of the Department of Justice and the FBI, they're not to blame. Garland is to blame. The higher level politicians are to blame. Those guys carrying out the search warrant and doing all that crap, they're just doing their freaking jobs. Cut them some slack. Number one. All right. Number two, You can't come out and say that you're the head of the freaking executive branch as the president of the United States, and you have no idea what your Department of Justice is doing, and that just doesn't look good. Let's not even take this case, right?
That's the opposite of what the Justice Department is meant for. See, you guys are of the idea that you should weaponize it like Trump was doing. That's wrong. You're not supposed to do that. The president, FBI works independently of the president.
Again, not the FBI. Didn't say FBI.
But it's the FBI was the one that carried out and applied for the search warrant.
He just said he single-handedly approved it.
Right. They came to him. But listen, here's you got to understand.
He could have denied it. He could have been like,
this is
bad optics, man.
This has been going on for months. Donald Trump took documents from the White House. They had meetings a month ago. The FBI was at Mar-a-Lago a month ago, and they requested those same exact documents. And Trump did not hand the documents over. So they applied for a warrant to go get the documents. That's exactly what happened here.
Oh, that's it.
Donald Trump put himself in that spot.
I'm not denying that. I'm not talking anything about that. I didn't say this, right? Even in my write-up, I'm like, shit, he could have documents. I don't know. Right? And if he does lock him up, cool. I don't care. You want to know why I don't care? Because when Joe Biden got friggin' accused of sexual misconduct, and then they were like, well, where are the documents? They're at the University of Delaware, and they can't be touched because they're sealed. But that's the vice president. Because I'm sure that the freaking University of Delaware are sticking with the high security protocols that the United States government calls for, right? Because we know that Trump had shit in a safe locked up and with government security protocols. I'm sure the University of Delaware does, but that's okay. Joe Biden can do it. That's okay. Now, hold on. Before you say anything, let's talk about the 800,000 documents that freaking President Obama took out of the White House to digitize. Yet not one thing has been digitized. Not one. But he's taking documents out, and it's okay. We're not. I don't care.
Donald Trump was the president for 4 years. The Justice Department
care about all
certainly could have pursued charges on that. If I guess
I don't care, right? Well, that's the thing. I don't care about all of that. This is what I'm saying.
I do. That's not a good thing. We shouldn't have classified documents flying around.
Okay, if you want to get into that arena, then we can talk about the Hillary Clinton. Why was Hillary Clinton afforded the opportunity, and they just went into Donald Trump's home? Like the Department of Justice asked Hillary Clinton, right?
They asked Donald Trump, and he didn't turn it over. I just explained that. And they were just at Mar-a-Lago a few weeks ago trying to get the documents. He didn't turn them over.
Why?
So they went and got a warrant.
Where is this? I got to find this. Hopefully I can pull this up without losing connection. Because the FBI came out and just said that, no, Trump's been very cooperative throughout this.
They went to get documents.
They literally
I don't know previously requested. This has been, listen, as soon as I heard they had raided him, I got excited. And then I heard what they were doing there. And it's like, oh, that's an old story. They've been trying to get these documents back for months. There's 15 boxes of documents that he took. Yeah, there's also, and this is what they presented to a judge.
How does everybody know that they're classified? How does everybody know that they're classified?
Jimmy, I'm not the FBI, so I don't have the details on this. All I can tell you is how a search warrant works. And you have to show, to get a search warrant to search a property like this, you have to be able to prove that there was a crime or a crime is going to be committed, and there's evidence about a crime occurring on that premises. And you have to have it not beyond a reasonable doubt like you would in court, but you have to have reasonable certainty that the items are going to be there, which it appears that they were. I think a lot of people thought that they were just kind of walking around helping themselves and poking around. They had very specific things on the warrant that they came for. That's what they collected, and then they left. Donald Trump has a copy of the warrant. He could release it to the public, but he doesn't want you to know what they were there for.
It's going to be released. Like, he doesn't have any say over that.
It's not going to be released.
The GOP.
It's not going to be. You know why it's not going to be released?
The Republican Party is calling for the release of that right now.
Yes.
The Judicial Committee is calling for it right now.
But, Jimmy, they know that they can't because it's part of an investigation. They're not going
to be.
The FBI's not going to show you what's in the warrant. Neither is Donald Trump.
The Democrats are calling for it. Everybody's calling
yes,
for
and
it.
no,
it's not a political thing here.
What did Merrick Garland just say? What did Merrick Garland just say? It'll be released at the appropriate time in the appropriate way. Not going to be anytime soon, and not going to be because we want to see it. That's not how it works. There's a criminal investigation into Donald Trump.
And then
they went and got the evidence to prove it. And so that's where we are right now.
Some of the GOP doesn't even care about the warrant. They want to see the affidavit that got the warrant. And that's
Trump has the affidavit, and he can show it,
right? Well,
yes,
actually,
Donald Trump has a copy of that.
He doesn't.
Yes, he has a copy of the affidavit. Doesn't have the actual.
He has the warrant. Yes. He doesn't have the affidavit. That's
because the affidavit lays out what the crimes are, and they're not going to tell him that.
That's what the GOP is.
That's what the prosecutor has. Of course, they're asking for that. They're not going to turn it over. Why would they show the Republicans what they have against Trump? Why would the FBI do that? It's a criminal investigation.
Now, when you're done yelling, right?
Criminal investigation.
Now, what do you think about this? Because this has been thrown out there, right? By a lot of people. Man, they just went in there to find more evidence on January 6th because they ain't got nothing.
Ooh, I got video.
All right, we'll go back. Well,
I don't think that there was actually anything there that's worthwhile. We'll see what they come up with. If they did, it'll be interesting, especially since they precluded me from actually watching what they did. But at this point, I don't necessarily think that they would even go to the extent of trying to plant information. I think they just make stuff up and, come up with whatever they want. And that's the way that they will have to proceed in order to actually try to indict the president, because they don't have anything. There's just nothing there.
So first off, I want to know if anybody, like your wife maybe could tell me, does a lawyer need to be present, or can they just freaking exclude her? Like, I didn't know this. Like,
so
I don't know
typically speaking, so people should understand two things happened. Number one, the Secret Service that guards Mar-a-Lago was notified upon arrival that the FBI was coming, and the Secret Service agents loyal to Donald Trump were present during the entire investigation. There was a Trump lawyer. One of Trump's lawyers was there. The female lawyer was not there. Again, as they're only collecting the evidence that is specifically listed on the warrant. You can walk by, dude, and there could be like a pound of crack. You can't touch that. It's not on the warrant. It would be in a legal seizure if you were to take the crack. You're not there for the crack. You don't get to take the crack. Okay.
So
there could
by
be
that
evidence
logic,
there could be evidence of collusion with Russia. It's not on the warrant. They can't take it.
So none of this should end up in the January 6th committee trial hearing.
Well, so here's the thing.
None of it.
We don't know, because again, what we're hearing is, Jimmy, that it's got to do with classified documents that he took. No one said specifically to January 6th. Probably there could be something to what you say. I can't say there's not, but Nancy Pelosi claims she had no idea that this was happening. So this is very separate of
that. And you can't
hold
believe
on,
that, guys. You can't believe that. But
this
anyways,
but again, this is what she's claiming. Maybe she's lying, Jimmy. I don't know, but this is what she said. That this is she didn't know about it. This was separate of the January 6th committee investigation. This seems to be the archives, the United States Archives Department basically has been asking to get these documents back. My understanding is they served a warrant to go get them. I don't know.
So I don't want to change topics or anything like that, because I want to stick to this topic. But my God, are the Democrats dumb? Seriously,
yes.
Is the DOJ dumb? Like, do you not think this is going to just give him more fuel? Let's just say, for hypothetical purposes, that Donnie Trump is not going to get indicted, right? Let's just say because that's never going to happen, guys. This is the Teflon Don we're talking about. Does anybody here honestly think he's going to wear
John
an orange
Gotti
jumpsuit?
died in prison. Don't forget that.
This is Donald Trump. He's not going to get an orange jumpsuit, guys. It's just not going to happen. All right.
Jim,
Now,
let me
hold
tell you
on.
something. Let me tell you something. A lot of legal experts are saying the idea that they would take this step, an unprecedented step in American history.
It's disgusting, by the
If
way.
they're
but
doing
anyways,
this, there's a reason they're doing this. They're not just going over there to ruffle his feathers. It's got to be more serious than that. And I would assume if there's an indictment coming,
you know what,
it's
man?
gonna
We've
happen.
been hearing this
If
for
there's hold
fucking
on,
6
if
years now.
there
dude.
is not 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years.
If there's an
6
indictment
years.
coming, the Justice Department will do it. They won't do it within 3 months of the election. I think the fact that they're doing it now means that I would say by September 1st, there's an indictment against Donald Trump.
I wonder why. But okay, he's indicted. He gets found guilty. He's not wearing an orange jumpsuit. What's precluding him from running for president of the United States again?
Well, a felony conviction.
It's not going to happen. Anyways, it's just not, dude. Come on. Let's think about this. It's Donald Trump.
Well,
right?
Donald Trump did say when running against Hillary Clinton that you shouldn't vote for somebody who's under FBI investigation, and he's under multiple FBI investigations.
Come
and
on,
his
guys.
compound was
we can
just
do this
raided.
all day.
Bad.
Right? I don't even care about that. What I'm saying is this, right? I'm not even saying that's wrong. I mean, look, if he's wrong, he's wrong. If he's got freaking documents that he shouldn't have sent in the jail, I don't give a shit. Right? I'm not a Donald Trump fan. What I'm saying is this: you're giving more fuel to all those red MAGA hat wearing hillbillies. And it's just spreading like wildfire.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like the optics of it.
Sure.
All these people see, and now all Sean Hannity has to do, all freaking Tucker Carlson and what's her name, Laura Ingraham, all they have to do is look what they're doing. Look what that.
Sure.
You're making their job so much easier. Look
and
what
then Donald Trump turns around,
and then
Donald Trump turns around and makes it harder by going to his fraud deposition with Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, where he pled the fifth 54 times.
Taking the fifth, I think it's disgraceful. Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. Horrible. Horrible. The mob takes the fifth. If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
54 times. Again, Jim, it's his own stupid words that are always used against him. He says a lot of things. Again,
you're
right
not trying
that.
to convince me here, Joe.
You
right?
shouldn't, but he's 100% right here. You shouldn't vote for someone who is under investigation, and someone who pleads the fifth 54 times in a fraud investigation is all but admitting their guilt. If I say anything, you're probably going to put me in jail. I plead the fifth.
You're not trying to convince me, right? Because you know I agree.
But I'm just saying, he's making their job much more difficult with each and every new scandal and investigation. It's just like more stuff against him. And
well,
don't
then
forget,
hit him on that.
But don't forget,
hit him
brother,
on that. You
but
don't need
forget,
to make a Russian freaking collusion hoax. He
already lost to Joe Biden. He already lost to him once. What makes you think he would beat him again?
Because he can show his economy for a record. That's all he's got to do.
Inflation's dropping. The price of gas is under $4 a gallon. It's gone down every day, 38 days in a row.
Okay. I hope it
Things
sticks.
are improving.
I hope
Things
it
are getting
sticks.
better. And you know what?
Hold on. I really hope it sticks now that they just spent $875 billion more dollars not to curb inflation. I hope it sticks. I don't see how it's possible, just being somebody, that likes math. When you spend more money that you don't have, inflation isn't going to go down, especially when you don't put that money towards inflation. If you put it towards inflation, if you put it towards something to curb inflation, awesome. But they didn't, Joe. They just spent $875 billion more dollars on nothing to curb inflation.
You've spent a lot of time.
And they're going to brag to me about the inflation rate?
But you've spent a lot of time talking about optics. And where were the worst optics? Gas and groceries.
Yeah.
Gas is already dipping.
Groceries
well, here's
houses
the thing.
Are still up.
Ready?
Rent is still up.
But hold on. But here's the thing. I was just reading this today, and this makes sense. The faster things go up, economically speaking, the quicker they generally go down.
And that's
when
horrible.
you have a spike in inflation, you're going to have a sure. It's not good for them. I'm saying it's not good, But Jimmy, here's what I'm telling you. This bill sucks. I agree. Inflation is still 8.2%. Not great.
8.5. Yeah.
Not great, but it's going down. It's an improvement. All I'm telling you, all the Democrats need, and we've already seen the influence of Roe v. Wade, all they need is for those things to stay a little beyond where they normally are. You know what I mean? We're about 60 cents a gallon higher than where we were a year ago. So we're not that far off. So again,
it's so crazy to me that
I'm
you
saying
guys...
optically, when they say they've reduced inflation and they say they've passed this bazillion-dollar bill, and you notice you're paying less at the gas tank, and if the food comes down a little bit and the electricity comes down a little bit, that's what the optics are going to be to people. The Roe v. Wade thing's on a lot of people's mind. To me, that spells Democrats winning. As long as they can keep... Dude, the prices are still ridiculous. The prices are... Dude, I paid $3.97, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not happy about this. This just sucks. That's still too high.
Dude.
But exactly. It's the optics.
The optics are this. Because all that anybody has to do, if Donald Trump came up and all he would have to do is hold up a sign that said gas prices while I was president, $2.12. Gas president while Biden's president, $3.55. Or actually, what is it? $3.95 is the national average. You're paying $1.70 plus more. Why? Because of policies. That's all he's got to say, whether it's true or not.
No, it's not
right?
true. And
now,
he would say that.
Okay.
But
now,
again, he's going to be indicted, so it's not going to help.
Okay. Anyways, just like he was going to be freaking indicted for the Russia collusion thing, right? Everybody had the goods on him. Adam Schiff had the world-shattering evidence every other day. Every other day, Adam Schiff had the bomb evidence, right? Every other day.
When Bob Mueller went back before Congress, he said, if I meant to exonerate the president, I would have said that, and I didn't. He left it to Congress to follow up on. He told them where they would go with it, and they just dropped it because I don't know. I don't know what they thought.
No.
That was a terrible
idea,
idea.
Dude. There was nothing there. If you know they weren't going to drop,
Bob Mueller says
best
otherwise.
Opportunity to get rid of them.
Bob Mueller says otherwise.
Opportunity to get rid of them, and they should have done it then, and they
should have. You're exactly. They didn't finish it off. It was done. They moved on to the next thing that they couldn't finish off.
Do you see what I'm saying? So now, whether it's right or wrong, if it's right or wrong.
If the question is, are the Democrats incompetent? I say yes, Jim.
How does it look to every red stated person? How does it look? It just looks like another political hit job. That's it, whether it is or it isn't. And I'm not saying it is.
Jimmy,
I'm not. What
I'll tell you right now.
It just looks like another one.
I will tell you right now. If this is a nothing burger, they're done. It's over. If this turns out to be another big nothing burger, this is bad. And then you know what? And then we'll have to have the conversation as to why did the FBI raid the guy's compound?
Don't care, right? The FBI's following orders. I believe this.
But again, Jim, if that's the case, if there's nothing to it, then you do need to invest. Not the FBI agents, but that brass at the FBI. 100%. I don't think they're going to take that chance. They've already got Trump on the ropes. Why would they?
We'll find out, man. It's
for sure.
Now, do you think it's actual?
And
do you think
anybody
actually cares? Do you honestly think they actually care, or is it just to make sure he doesn't run again?
I think they have evidence. I think they actually have evidence of a crime. I don't think they would have taken such an extreme. They had to know the backlash that was going to come on this.
The National Archives is aware of a crime. That's what you're telling me. Because they're the ones that spearheaded this, right? All they're doing is just asking for documents.
They're correct.
The National Archives.
If I'm to believe what the reporting has been leading up to this raid, this is about classified. I don't know what the classified documents are or what they're in regards to. Is it January 6th? Maybe it is. I don't know, Jim. Is it Russia? Is it the Zelensky call? I don't know what it is. No one seems to be sure. We won't know until they release something.
And that's what makes this look like another political hit job.
But I think that could be the guys that they're operating under.
All they're doing is giving more fuel, right?
If you're right, you're right.
Guys.
If you're right, you are right. If you're wrong, big trouble.
If I'm wrong, who gives a shit? Honestly, he goes away. Yay.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about it. Who cares?
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people care because a lot of people want him to go away.
Yeah, but who cares after that? He's irrelevant at that point, right? He can't run again.
Ask Gerald Ford how the election goes after a major scandal with that's going to have serious ramifications.
And he's a convicted felon. He can't run again. So who cares?
I understand that. And it doesn't matter what Republican runs for president. You're not going to win.
At that point, who cares about those MAGA wearing hats?
Sure.
Right? Because it's irrelevant now.
Well,
so if I'm wrong,
Jim,
if I'm wrong, who cares? It's over.
You're right again, but
now we have a deeper
the
problem
devastation.
In our
I don't think Mitch McConnell realizes that the MAGAs, if this guy's out, the MAGAs aren't showing up on election day.
No, you're right.
They're not doing it
unless there's only one way it'll happen, right? And I still think it'll happen, right? And this will be a prediction, right? Another one of Jimmy's prediction, and I'm not gotten wrong yet, but Trump will sit there and stand next to freaking DeSantis the entire election cycle. He can't run. There's nothing saying he can't be there.
Those two don't like each other. That would be a very interesting.
Doesn't matter.
I would, Jim, if that happens, I want it on pay-per-view. I want it on 4 nights a week.
If he wins the nomination in the primaries, which he more than likely would, you don't think he'd care? You don't think he'd set that aside to be president? Let's see. I can be a dickhead to Donald Trump and lose $8 billion.
I don't think that he sees Trump as the golden ticket. I think DeSantis sees Trump as his obstacle. I think that DeSantis thinks he's right where he needs to be.
I don't think anybody, because nobody really, if they're honest with themselves, nobody sees Trump as the golden ticket. Everybody sees Trump's as 8 million votes. Yeah. Donald Trump will give you 8 million votes minimum. That's not a lot in comparison to the entire country, but that's still one person bringing you 8 million. That's what they care about Donald Trump. Let's not get everything twisted.
Oh, right? Dude, I know that. I'm telling you.
The second, if he gets convicted and he is no longer relevant, Lindsey Graham will dump him like a freaking sack of potatoes, dude.
Sure. When he loses relevancy. Absolutely.
So let's not get all this twisted. Let's not say that all Republicans are hoping on Donald Trump's resurrection, because they're not. They're really not. They don't want to do this for 4 more years. They don't want to deal with this crap for 4 more years. The Trump hysteria. Nobody does. They want him for votes. That's it. And if the best thing that would happen to the Republican Party right now is if Trump got convicted. If he got convicted and we didn't have to go through this and we could freaking go back to kind of normal, then that'd be great. Joe wants it. We got to get Joe's bid in because I screwed this up. I really love Joe's.
You know what it is too, Jim? We're dancing around a lot of what I have prepared. And I'm trying not to say things to you that I wrote in the bit. Let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Make sure the house is up to your standards. You need a professional to look it over. Ryan Hannigan from Shamrock Home Inspections, a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Ryan was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment in your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
The FBI searched the home of former President Donald Trump, who actually had the balls to release a statement as the investigation was unfolding at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida. By the way, there were Secret Service agents on the premises while all of this was going on. The seizure of evidence, by the way, was approved by a judge and executed by the FBI. And if you don't know how anything works, Joe Biden doesn't direct the FBI. Christopher Wray, a Trump appointee, is still director of the FBI. The White House said Biden had no idea what was going on. I think we can all believe that. I mean, really, Jimmy, when does he know what's going on? But that didn't stop right-wing media from completely overreacting.
Where's the video?
Yeah, I mean, you think? This is some third world bullshit right here. Let me say it again. Third world bullshit. I mean every word of that. I don't care that it's cable news. I was a federal agent. I raised my right hand, and I swore to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, and I love this country. This is a freaking disgrace. A disgrace. We don't live in Cuba. We don't live under Kim Jong-un. We live in a constitutional republic, a representative democracy. You have a bunch of FBI agents raiding the home of a former president because they don't like his politics? Are you kidding me? You've spent this whole show, Jesse, and I've spent my entire time either on Fox or on my podcast exposing the left for claiming Russia interfered in an election as Hillary Clinton paid off a bunch of foreign agents, her team literally to fabricate a story that occupied the nation for 4 years. What's she doing right now? Getting a manicure in freaking Chappaqua. She's not doing squat. Nothing. Hunter Biden is having sex on tape while doing crack. And what is he doing? He's living in a Malibu mansion. And yet the president, the former president, who, whether you agree with him or not on his claims about the election, whether you agree or not, we still live in a country where you were allowed to challenge an election. There's even
that douche nozzle actually went as far as to say they should shut down the FBI. And he was very upset about the no-knock warrant, which I find very ironic because there was a time when nobody had a problem with the no-knock warrant. Remember Breonna Taylor? Why suddenly do we have such an issue? Now, the warrant the FBI brought and gave Trump a copy of listed exactly what they came for, and he knew they would because the FBI has been asking for it for weeks.
It is going to change, and I appreciate the leader's statement, and that's exactly what needs to happen. But even before that, this Friday, we're going back to vote on this stupid bill that the Democrats passed out of the Senate yesterday. So we will be there all day Friday. I'll be in Thursday night. Merrick Garland, Chris Wray, come to the House Judiciary Committee this Friday and answer our questions about this action today, which has never happened in American history. What was on the warrant? What were you really doing? What were you looking for? Why not talk to President Trump and have him give the information you're after? This is unbelievable. And understand the history here. 1 year ago, it was the Merrick Garland using the Patriot Act against parents. 1 day ago, it was 87,000 agents in a bill the Democrats passed to go harass Americans from the IRS. And today, we have the raid of a former president's home in America. So heck, we deserve answers now, and this Friday would be a good time. Jerry Nadler, call up Christopher Wray, call up Merrick Garland, bring them from the House Judiciary Committee so we can ask them the questions that the American people deserve answers to.
Most of what Jim Jordan said, by the way, is nonsense. The people like him who swear they back to blue are once again trying to undermine U.S. law enforcement officials who are just doing their job. They didn't plant anything. They didn't need to. If you've been paying attention, Trump left the White House with 15 boxes of documents, and he's been accused of destroying even more. The only thing that was planted at the Trump property was his ex-wife, Ivana. The FBI planted evidence during thank you. This is because they on the right, they know there's incriminating evidence. The warrant had to show evidence of a crime and proof they could get the evidence if the search was executed. You have to list specifically what you're looking for. Now, unfortunately, radical conservatism is all about believing despite the lack of evidence. That's how religion works. Religion is the foundation of conservatism. No evidence is literally how these people were raised. Now, as I said, Trump can release the warrant if he wants to, like he wanted to do with Obama's birth certificate. My father never got so much as a speeding ticket in his life, tweeted Eric Trump. whose father paid $25 million to people he defrauded through Trump University. Eric Trump also claimed his family's the most targeted political family in American history, clearly forgetting who the Kennedys are. Right-wing media is saying the judge is a Clinton donor and connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Well, so is Trump. These guys probably know each other. Now, the Donald surrounds himself with some of the scummiest people on earth. Everybody who works for this guy's writing a book about the chaos that was happening, especially on January 6th. It's starting to feel like the only person that Trump's ever hired who was actually qualified to do their job was Stormy Daniels.
Ouch.
You know, thank you. A bunch of Republicans were camped out in Dallas a few months ago for about 30 days, waiting for John F. Kennedy Jr. to appear to announce he was running as Trump's VP in 2024. So, yeah, I'm not surprised they have a conspiracy theory about this, too.
That is thanks. Well done, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
I like that. I did. Of course, again, it's all crap, but it's not actually. Stormy Daniels, I'm sure, did a wonderful job.
A pro's pro, they say, Jim. A pro's pro.
Apparently, you know what? I'll have to. No, I won't. So I like how you brought religion into it. Actually, that was good. That was, and you're right. It is a faith-based thing, and a lot of people have a lot of faith in this orange man for some reason, and
it's misplaced. I would rather you believe in God.
They have,
that guy.
You know, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, actually, and again, why does everybody? I'm going to bring this picture up again. Why does everybody freaking forget? That was at a Clinton party, by the way, just so that everybody know.
Oh,
that was at a Clinton party that Donald Trump funded.
Yeah. Listen, the Epsteins and the Trumps were at Chelsea's wedding with the Clintons. I mean,
come on. Does people like everybody
again,
who wears
listen,
a MAGA hat?
I'm not even trying to necessarily make any link between Trump and
Epstein,
Jeffrey Epstein beyond because, but again, this idea that this judge is some corrupt Clinton donor, this guy by all accounts, everything I read about this guy
is a
very
corrupt
fair-minded judge.
Yeah, oh no,
he's a
fair-minded judge.
I thought you were talking
about Trump.
Yeah, yeah. The judge, people are like, no, dude, this guy you give him evidence, he pushes back, he asks a lot of questions. You really got to do your work if you want this guy doesn't just sign off on things. Obviously, Merrick Garland approved it for the FBI to seek out this magistrate to get this thing signed. They again, whether what they're saying is true or not, the FBI agents who brought this to the judge, whether that was Merrick Garland himself or the actual investigating agents, you have to show that there was a crime committed and there's evidence of the crime in order to search that facility. Now, maybe that's gone. Maybe there is no evidence. Maybe there is no crime. I'm saying that's how you get a warrant. They're not just handing out search warrants.
You know, Joe, I have said this a million times on this show now, and I am fair across the board with everybody. So I will wait and see what the evidence comes out and what it stands. And again, if he's wrong, I am on the right. I am on the side of right. So if he's wrong, he's wrong. And then if he gets prosecuted, he gets prosecuted. Even if he's wrong, I still don't think he's ever going to get prosecuted.
I might go hard right if this ends up being nonsense again.
It should be very, very disappointing to you. It should be.
It would be. Again,
it should be apparent at that time.
To take the step of raiding Mar-a-Lago, if there is not an indictment forthcoming, they're done for me. I'm out. Then clearly it's all a big political game, and
right. And now we'll
and that
see
would
who
prove
actually politicized the DOJ.
Because here's the thing, dude. You know what?
Accused people.
You know what?
They end up
he's not in office. He's no longer in office, and so right now he's basically possible candidate Trump.
True.
If this turns out to be a big nothing thing, then yes, this is one of the worst abuses of the Justice Department and the FBI in history.
Do you think
to me it would be an unforgivable move by the Democrats, and so
100%.
they cannot be wrong here, or I'm telling you, they will lose a significant percentage of people in that party, and it'll be the boy who cried wolf. And I'm telling you, all the abortion and gay marriage in the world ain't gonna save their asses in November.
I don't think so. Hey, but I just saw this picture and it made me laugh, right? Because I want to, this one right here you brought up, right? The Kennedys.
Yep.
Had their scandals, Well, how do I get rid of this thing? But loved, right?
Yeah.
They're storming. I really wish I had a picture of Marilyn, because nobody gave a crap about Marilyn Monroe and JFK. Nobody cared.
That very well may have led to his assassination, sleeping with Marilyn Monroe.
The entire CIA. I'm sorry. What was I supposed to say?
Hilarious. Yeah, apparently one of the for conspiracy there's one of the prime suspects is a Cuban nationalist who was having a relationship with Marilyn Monroe. Apparently, I just was talking to this lunatic, that guy James Fetzer, the Dr. James Fetzer. We did an episode of we were talking about JFK stuff. One of the rumors, or one of the suspected people, again, was with Marilyn, knew he was having an affair, and that this literally might have been over a woman and nothing more.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if it comes out that that's what it was?
Some super macho Cuban shooting the president over a girl? Yeah, it would not shock me. I hate to say that.
After how many years of conspiracy theories and and just people chomping at the bit to get the truth, it was a lover's quarrel. That would be so anticlimactic. Oh my God, I think people like conspiracy theories would like hang themselves.
Oh yeah,
that'd be awful, awful. So
that's not anybody's favorite theory, by the way. So you're exactly right. That would definitely be
yeah. Oh, absolutely. So. Do you think it was a good visual to raid the house? I don't want to say raid because, somebody on CNN said there's a difference between a raid and legally carrying out a search warrant, and they're 100% right. So, like we always say on the show, words matter. It wasn't a friggin' raid. It was a legally carried out search warrant in a manner not, in my opinion, not at the level of the severity of the crime.
Well, sure. That's all. They also didn't kick the doors down, right? I mean, they got there. They told Secret Service, we have a warrant. We're going to search the premises. They let Secret Service stay on site. So yeah, hardly a raid.
Right. But I don't think you needed to show up with that many cop cars blazing in the middle of the night so everybody can see. They made it a freaking fiasco. And I don't know why. I really don't. It was just a bad look on everybody's part. On everybody's part. You don't need, number one, you're the FBI and you're the Department of Justice. You probably should know that the president, Donald Trump, I will call him, Donald Trump wasn't home. You probably knew that.
Yeah.
Was it really necessary to come rolling up like that? Honestly.
No, again.
Why would you do it?
And knowing there's another federal agency on site protecting the property, yeah, I think you could have rolled up in a couple of vehicles quietly and been like, hey, here's a warrant. We got to do our thing. You guys can stick around.
Exactly. So you can roll up in 15 cop cars. You can roll up in 15 federal FBI unmarked cars. That's fine. You didn't need to make a big freaking show of it. There were cameras waiting there for it. Think about that. How did we know about this the instant it happened? Because they wanted to make a show out of it, and you didn't need to do that. And you know what? When people talk on Fox News, like I was watching The Five, right? Because I don't watch opinion pieces. I watch The Five. Greg Gutfeld is hilarious to me, right? Talking about you wanted to make a show of it. You did, and it's going to backfire and it did. Oh my God, there's another political hit job. Ding, says all the people in the middle of the country. And it's just emboldening, and it's just enraging. I don't want to say emboldening, but it's just firing that base up more. That's all you're doing. If you kept it quiet and nothing comes out of it, you don't look like an idiot. But now you made a show of it. Now, if you don't come up with something grandiose, so now that freaking MAGA hat wearing crowd, but guess what?
Oh,
you
yeah.
just fired them up 10 times more. And we're going to keep going through this crap for 4 more friggin' years. I mean, do they not? Again, it's chess, not checkers, people. Quit worrying about what's going to happen right now. Think about what you're doing 2 steps down the road, because all you did was fire up a bunch of people that don't give a shit about right or wrong right now. They don't care what's right or wrong. They just care about you are after their guy. That's all they care about.
I find it upsetting that the Jim Jordans and Kevin McCarthy's of the world continue to
fire them
twist things, continue to just be completely dishonest about things. Again, I mean, any constitutional scholar or lawyer will tell you that, again, for them to take this unprecedented step, this thing has to be air fucking tight. I mean, airtight. Or I'm telling you, dude, this will blow up so bad in their face. And again, if you're wrong, Jim, and you flip the house, if they flip the house, Merrick Garland's a goner.
Not
Joe
only
Biden, they might. I mean, dude, you could have. The impeachments will be endless if they're wrong and the Republicans take over.
And from here on out, this is going to be American politics. And guess what happens after that, Joe? No more America, Joe.
Oh yeah, it could be the beginning of the end. That's why I hope this thing better be airtight on Trump. They better have gone in there and pulled out whatever the smoking gun is. I hope there's a box that had smoke coming out of it. Because if they don't have the thing, the number one thing they were there for, the evidence of a crime, whatever that is, Jim, if they don't have it, bye.
They needed to send Ethan Hunt, a.k.a. Tom Cruise, in there 2 days prior to get that smoking gun, get it out, seal it in concrete, have it, protected by gargoyles and gnomes.
Yeah. Perfect.
Then apply for the warrant. That's what they better have done. Right.
Yeah.
Because if not, come on, guys, it's over.
Now, I also heard today, and I thought this was interesting, but that there could potentially be someone on Trump's inner circle who may have seen the documents recently.
I've heard
going
this, yes.
into the safe and was like, hey, you got to come get that now. Now you go to a judge and you're like, hey, listen, Jared Kushner said there's documents. They're not going to be there much longer. You're going to get them. Go now. And then you get your warrant and you go busting the door in.
It could be. Absolutely. I heard that too, that there is an informant inside that's, leaking this information. And
again, complete conspiracy theory at this point.
Yes.
But, right. You heard it too. That's interesting. Yeah. So we're hearing some of the same stuff here. Whatever this is, Jim, this cannot be a nothing burger. I'm telling you, this will be a complete disaster for the Democrats, and I don't know that they'll ever recover from this.
Here's the worst part about it, man. Right? Here is the worst part about all of this. As soon as the Republicans get back in power, guess whose house they're raiding? Joe Biden's.
Yeah.
And as soon as the Democrats get back in power, guess whose house they're raiding? It's now we're in that precedent. Oh, by the way, Hillary's house is getting raided in 2 years and X number of days. Guaranteed. I guarantee it. If Trump gets reelected, Hillary's house is going to get raided January 7th.
Well, here is the interesting thing about that. You have to ask yourself, I mean, again, he was the president. He oversaw the Justice Department.
No, I understand that, right?
If he wanted to go get Hillary, he could have.
No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is now he's going to do it out of spite. And the next person is going to do it out of spite. And
Absolutely.
the next person is going to do it out of spite. So
here's the thing. If this proves to be nothing, the Republicans take over. I mean, what do you think kind of laws they're going to pass? What kind of regulations are they going to put in or clamp down and build a tighter bureaucracy in the FBI where, maybe there's not just one singular guy at the top? Maybe it falls under the provision of Congress or whatever. Who knows what they would come up with, but it won't be the same. And
It's not
again,
good.
it becomes It becomes a weapon of the party in power.
Exactly.
And now you're talking about, underdeveloped countries, your third world types, if you will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was like I said, I was talking to a buddy. You better start learning how to speak Venezuelan, which is Spanish, but he didn't,
That's funny.
I'm like, hold on, mi amigo. Because you know what? I don't see how we're not heading in that direction, to be honest. In the name of equality, we're going to end up screwing ourselves.
Unless the Democrats are right on this. And when I say the Democrats, I mean the FBI.
Yeah, either way.
And by the FBI, I mean Joe Biden, who... I'm just kidding. I cracked my wife up, by the way. I read that bit to my wife earlier, and she loved the line about the White House said Joe Biden had no idea what was going on, and we all believe that.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't want to laugh because I was taking it seriously. I was like, did you see my face? Because
I know. Like this. I know. I was going for the cheap laughs. That's what I was trying to get some smiles on this because, listen, I understand people on both sides are upset about this because, listen, if you're a real crime and punishment kind of politician, you stand for the rule of law, and the abuse of power, the abuse of law enforcement is completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
And again, treating agents as pawns or any police officer as pawns in a political game is messed up. No matter who's doing it, it's messed up. So again, I hope, and I just can't imagine they would be this stupid as to try to pull this off before an election. Because here's the other thing: if we find out, like, listen, they're not going to do any, they won't indict until after the election. Then I'm going to be like, isn't that like Trump's caravan of Mexicans at the border? Every time there's an election, there's another caravan that never makes it to the burbs. Got to stop that. You're either going to do it or you're not. Don't mess with us.
But the caravans are making it. Ask Mayor Adams.
Yeah.
Ask the mayor from D.C. now. Like,
those aren't the caravans.
You can't tell me that they're not coming.
I don't think they are. Those caravans are like cities. They're like moving cities. You would know it if they were in your town.
Unlike what the mayors are saying up here in the Northeast, they're not tricking anybody. They're saying, hey, this bus is going to New York. Do you want to go?
Yeah.
And people are like, yeah. Hey, this bus is going to D.C. Do you want to go? And they're like, yeah. They're not saying, hey, this bus is going to Florida with all
the funny thing is despite the big spike in crime, it's all domestic. It's all being done by Americans, not like these illegal immigrants.
That's why
we've heard they're causing a drain on some of the resources, but they're not causing all the crime that we're concerned about.
You're 100% right. Right? None of these immigrants are. And I don't think I've ever said that. I think it's a drain.
I don't mean to say that you saying they are, but like those are
definite
two
drain.
Different problems.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a definite drain. And you know what? That's an even better point. I won't even talk about the immigrants. The fact that we have a problem in this country with 2 million immigrants are coming over in the past 2 years, and we're going to blame these guys for the crime, right? And yet none of them been arrested for murder that I know of in Chicago.
You would know it because
right in Chicago.
They wouldn't stop talking about it if it happened.
Chicago, Detroit, none of them have been convicted of murder in the two largest murderous cities in the country, New York. We're getting arrested. Well, actually, nobody is in those cities, but the American citizens are getting arrested. You're 100% right.
Time out. Let me just say something. By the way, I have a hard right buddy. His car got stolen the other day. And he told me he talked to the cops, and the cops were like, dude, we're not going to get your car back. And even if we do, they're not going to prosecute. Not only did he get his car back, but they are prosecuting, and the dude got arrested. And I was like, I don't know why you guys seem to insist on the idea that they're not prosecuting criminals. And I understand there's some wishy-washy issues with these juveniles and what to do with the juveniles. You need to make the 15 and 16-year-old, you need to try them as adults, put them in adult court, put them in adult jails. That'll solve that shit real quick. Okay. But as far as them not pursuing charges for all these petty thefts, I mean, again, Connecticut's suffering in the burbs all over the state with this kind of theft. they are putting people in jail and they are arresting the ones that get caught. I don't understand why people are. I've looked into this, Jim, because I'm like, that's ludicrous. Like, why would they not be prosecuting? And they are. Again,
Nobody's saying they're prosecuting. What we're saying is they're allowing the no bail crap, right? The no bail crap is what's going on, right? And they're just not, man. I'm looking at career criminal indicted on murder, charged, freed without bail by New York City judge. Like, you can't tell me it's not happening. I'm pulling it up right now.
Well, you're pulling up anecdotal evidence. Sure. Again, look, do you
anecdotal
remember?
Or not, but it's evidence, right?
Do you remember that Mexican immigrant that shot that girl in San Francisco a few years back, and Fox News talked about it every day for like 6 months? And it was like, dude, that's the only one that you have to talk about. It's anecdotal evidence. Again, we know statistically,
you know what? There's a lot more now. It's a lot more prevalent now, Joe. You're 100% right. Back in the day, this wasn't happening. But with this new bail reform, this is why the freaking DA out in San Francisco just got recalled because of the no bail reform crap. Like, it's actually happening. Just because it's not happening in Connecticut, thank God, right? Knock on wood. Thank you, Governor
but see,
Vermont, who also made this
we're not going to do that, and so we'll just recall the AG because you can do that if they're not going to do what the people want. And
right, you're 100% right, but don't say it's not happening.
Sure, but look, if there's some rando lefty loony that then they'll just push those people out. This whole
you're right.
This whole
100%.
thing and this election coming up, to me, it's going to be the end of extremism.
I agree with that.
The extremism, people hate the far left and they hate the far right. And the people I'm talking about are the people that swing all these elections, independents. They don't want to go hard left. They don't want to go hard right. It's why they didn't select either side in the first place. And they certainly don't want your extremist sides to be rising to power. It's just not going to fly.
It's not. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
So the party that is less insane and less extreme going forward, I think, is the one, because you got Roe v. Wade on one side, inflation on the other. This is going to come down to what independents see as which side's going to be less crazy and less try to fundamentally change America. Because I think we can all agree on one thing. Nobody's looking for America to be changed.
We were freaking pretty good the way we were.
Yeah.
I don't know why all of a sudden now we're a piece of shit.
You know, Jim, it occurs to me that, I mean, we're as a society trying to be more inclusive. It's been a battle. We have discussions about it frequently on this show. America at large is having conversations about it. But we're becoming more progressive as a society. We all have gay friends now. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's kind of getting up to speed on things. We don't fundamentally need to change America. We needed to tweak a couple of things. And again, some of it's been a bare knuckle battle to get there, but that's how change works in America. It's slow. But the idea of completely it's not going to fly, because that's the majority of Americans like the country the way it is.
It's a very small, we talk about it all the time, Joe, right?
It's the loonies.
It's a very small fringe populations on either side. And what you and I have been talking about the past few weeks is getting that majority middle to just stand up now and be like, all right, I'm freaking done with you children.
Yeah, you guys are done. We're done with this shit.
All right, we're done. Put your toys away. It's time for the grown-ups to come back. You know,
you guys had your chance. We let you play around. And you're out. Thanks for nothing.
So I'm praying to God that you're right. I'm praying to God that we have a good mix of new congressmen and women this year. That's what I don't care if red or blue wins. I really want to see a good mix of new, hungry congressmen and women that are willing to do what it takes to actually make change. I don't care. I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat or independent. I don't care. If you are out there and you want to affect change for positive, I will support the crap out of you. And the majority of us will. If you're out there just spewing hate, nobody wants that anymore. Everybody in this country, I believe, is really, really over the hate. I really think that people are getting over this great divide. I honestly think people are waking up to the fact that, all right, I'm the freaking adult in the room now. It's time for these children to go away. And I think that this November is going to prove it. I don't think that the Democrats are going to win, but there's not going to be a red wave. That's for sure. It's going to be a narrow majority for the Republicans, just because you have a lot more outspoken progressives than you do loony right. Number one, Jim Jordan is not going anywhere, right? He's just not. Matt Gaetz is not going to get elected out. He's just not, right? Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, they're not going to get elected out. They're just not. They're just so ingrained. So that's not what we need to be focusing on. We need to focus on hashtag vote moderates and get the majority of the party. These staples are going to be there until we have term limits. So let's focus on the young guns. Let's focus on getting some moderates in there and getting this country back on track. Joe said it right. It takes a long time to steer this ship, and it's a big old ship. If you've ever in the Navy and sat on an aircraft carrier, it takes a long time to turn that thing around.
I don't care if people vote Democrat or Republican. My request is the person who's more moderate, the person who's the least extreme side of the political spectrum is who I hope you will all cast your vote for. If there's an Antifa lunatic running on one side, please vote for the Republican. And if it's some lunatic right winger, please vote for the Democrat, because we don't need extremists on either side pushing agendas that are frankly un-American. You know,
we taking us in the wrong direction.
Right. Listen, we all, like I said, we've said this before, right? We all want to just kind of do our thing, live our life, raise a family, right? Have enough food and drink and a nice place to stay at night. And again, just to be able to care for your family. And we all kind of have different ways how we want to do that. But at the end of the day, like that's the main objective. And like I said, look, progressively, I think we're becoming a much more tolerant country where, you know, the racism I saw as a kid is different than what it is now. And I think for the better. And the fact that we have these conversations and the fact that we talk about gay people and transgender people and that, you know, we're sorting through all that. Because again, it's a process, you know. You're not gonna fix all your problems in a day. And I mean, we've been working on civil rights in this country for like 60 years now. But you show me another country in the world that for the last 60 years has been working to get shit right. That's been working to try to, again, there's give and take on both sides, you know, when it comes to this stuff. But at the end of the day, I think it would be hard for anyone to argue that life in America today isn't better for everybody, for every minority group, for every ethnic group, for white people, black people, for everybody. We're in a better place. We're seeing it more because of the smartphones and the cameras everywhere. Okay. We see a lot of that stuff. I think it's on the way out. I think people are, again, you know, I just saw a poll the other day, Jim, where like, you know, the majority of Americans are so cool with the gays now. And 20 years ago, that was not the case.
So you're 100% right, Joe. And I know we've gone almost a half an hour over, so I want to wrap this show up. But I wanted to wrap the show up with telling everybody this. Everybody wants to be respected, right? And everybody wants to have their fair share, and every group wants to be equal represented, right? But let's think about who's actually doing the oppressing, right? If we want to talk about being oppressed, or we want to talk about being stepped on, put down, held down, let's talk about who's actually doing it. All right, that's 1%. Can we agree on that? The 1%. 1%. So let's say that they're all men. So 1% of all men are being oppressive. So why is every man getting blamed for it? Why is every man paying for it? If 1% of the people are holding all the black people down, why is everybody paying for it? My point is this. It's time we go after that 1%, because they're the ones that are telling us that everybody is oppressed. They're the ones that are telling us that nobody can get ahead. They're the ones that are telling us that we need to have these special groups, but yet they're the ones that are in power. People need to start waking up to this fact. We're fighting the wrong people here.
You did that several months ago where you showed those lovely liberals in San Diego who We're all about that low-income housing, just not near us.
Just on the other side. Exactly.
Yeah. And there is a lot of that where clearly these dominant people in power at the end of the day, they're more out for themselves and their cronies than they are for you.
Do you honestly think the man in West Virginia going to the coal mines right now is going down there to think about how he can oppress women or how he can be a racist against blacks? Do you think that's what he's thinking? Or do you think he's just sitting there going, God, I got to freaking bust this coal so I can make a living for my family?
Yes, I want to get this coal clean before I die a black lung.
Right. Do you think the grocery store guy working is sitting there wondering how he can oppress women and blacks? No. Do you think anybody that's working on an assembly line in any freaking factory around the freaking world, or this country especially, thinking about how to oppress women and blacks, as browns, Asians? No. Where nobody in this country is thinking about it except the 1%. That 1% is the ones telling us to think about it.
I was just going to say, and it's not until that 1% tells you that those are the people that are causing all your problems in life. And you're like, oh!
Exactly. So who's really causing all the hate and divide here? That 1%. All right. So divided we stand, audience members, anybody who can freaking hear my voice, anybody, it is time that we stand up. It is time that the 99% actually get a voice. We need to vote moderate. I don't care. Red, blue, purple, don't care. Vote moderate. We need to show these 1%ers that try to divide us, that try to separate us for money, that they ain't going to do it anymore.
Love it.
For divided we stand. That hairy goddess over there is Joe Aguirre. I am a America wearing hat, Jim Battisti, saying good night and God bless.
We can expect another wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you don't have your home serviced for mosquito control and you find you're spending most of your outside time swatting those little pests, or you did have your yard sprayed but you still have bites all over your body, you're in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. All mosquito control service is not the same. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program. You can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. The promise has awarded them an industry-leading customer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCNCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade DeCesare and enjoy the rest of the summer mosquito-free.